Hi, I'm Dele Olawanle of Dele and Co. Solicitors. Contact us for advice and representation and advocacy in all areas of immigration law. We take your case from the onset until the conclusion of the case. We provide a one-stop service and we provide advice and representation and advocacy.
Dele & Co. Solicitors. We're friendly, professional and cost-effective. A one-stop shop for immigration affairs as we take your case from the onset and represent you in court if necessary. Located at 659 Green Lanes, Haringey, London, N80QY. We're only 4 minutes walk from the Turnpike Lane tube station on the Piccadilly line. Call 0208 880 9393. That's 0208 880 9393 for more information.
Dele and Co. Solicitors. Legal advice you can rely on. Hello viewers, welcome to today's edition of the Legal Panorama. My name is Dele Olawanle of Dele and Co. Solicitors. I'm the principal solicitor. This program is about educating immigrants and non-immigrants alike on their immigration rights, duties, and obligations. I've been doing this program for the past 11 years every day, bringing the latest immigration laws to your attention. 2016 has been an interesting year. 2017 will even be a more interesting year. I'm excited about what is going to happen in in 2017, and then I look forward also to being able to represent a lot of clients all over the United Kingdom, to win more cases and to make a lot of people happy. Why immigration law? Why is Legal Panorama about immigration law? Someone called me years ago, I think about 9 years now, and said, "Oh, why is your program always about immigration?" I said, "Well, this is my bias. This is where I have a personal experience. I have been through it all with the Home Office. I've made an application to them before. They had refused it. They had asked me to be reporting at police stations. I did that for 8 years. They detained me. They took me to the airport to be deported. I appeared in court several times. I used several solicitors. I went to the High Court and appeal tribunals, immigration tribunal, used several lawyers. I've seen a lot of people over the years. So I know what the needs of the immigrants are. Now, the starting point is that the government has the right to control the influx of foreign nationals into her territory. Also, the government cannot allow everyone that comes to the United Kingdom to stay. The government cannot say that everyone that makes an application will be allowed to stay. That is an unreasonable expectation, in that they will not be able to control the population. They will not be able to make provision for the social amenities that you enjoy, like health, like rail, like road, like accommodation, and things like that. So then it becomes like the proverbial camel passing through the eye of the needle. If you want to stay here, you've got to make sure that you make an application that has the prospect of success. Now, someone comes into the UK and overstays. That is not encouraged. That is a criminal offense to overstay in the UK. Someone comes into the UK and without getting a visa and coming using another person's passport, again, that is a criminal offense. That is against the law. But after a while, you develop what is called a private and family life under the Human Rights Act, and it may well be that you find yourself within the immigration rules. Immigration rules are a body of laws put together rules and regulations on categories of applications that you can make to regularize your stay in the United Kingdom. How do you know which category you fall into? Get legal advice. See a lawyer. Because one thing with lawyers is that what is strange to you is known to them. What you cannot understand is simple to them. It's like going to the doctor. If you are sick, they know the symptoms of particular ailments and health conditions. The same thing with lawyers. When you go to them and you narrate your experience, you narrate your story, they will be able to advise you. So the starting point for everyone on watching this telecast is that if you are not sure of your immigration status or how to regularize your stay in the United Kingdom, get legal advice. Get legal advice. See a lawyer to advise you on your immigration situation. For example, my colleague that records this program with me is on maternity leave at the moment. So it may well be that when you made your application, that was refused. You are single, but now you are pregnant. You are on maternity leave. You are about to give birth. If you go to a lawyer, he may tell you that, if when you give birth and the father of that child is a British citizen or someone that has indefinite leave to remain in the UK, you will be able to apply to make an application for leave to remain in the UK. You may get an advice like that. So therefore, it is very important. You may also look at it that, you were convicted of a criminal offense in the past, and that maybe if you make an application, that the application will be refused. It does not necessarily follow. It may well be that time has passed, or you have done a lot of things to update yourself, to reintegrate yourself into the society, or to rehabilitate yourself in every way possible. A representation can be made on that to the Home Office when you make a fresh application to guarantee the success of your application. So the fact that your application was refused in the past does not mean that is how it's going to be forever. So that is where it is very important to get legal advice. Now, I want to also tell you that when you go for legal advice, it is not free. There is a consultation fee to be paid. The advice you are getting on TV now is free, but when it comes to legal advice, you need to pay for the time that you spend with the lawyer so that you can be advised. Looking at the immigration rules, what are the applications you can make if you want to make an application? You have lived in the United Kingdom for 20 years. You can make an application, provided also that you have the documentary evidence to show that you have been here. So it is very important if you are hoping to make an application to live when you have come you have lived in the UK for 20 years, you need documentary evidence. So for someone like that, it is important to stop destroying your documents. Every time you move from a house, take your documents with you. Every time you move to another house, take your documents with you. What documents am I talking about? Your bank statement, if you have one. Your pay slips, if you have one. Utility bills, if you have one. Say educational certificates, if you have one. So your children's school certificates. All those good news pay letters that they give to these children, or they are going on a trip to this, or their annual report. Stop destroying them. I saw a woman recently. She kept everything in a plastic folder, very neat. I said, wow, you are a good parent. And some parents also come to me, they cannot find a single parent. They say, when we moved from our former house, we threw it away. Don't do that. The only way you prove that you have lived in the United Kingdom for many years is through documentary evidence. Your letters from your GP, that hospital appointment that you are invited for, keep those letters. They will be handy, they will be useful in the future. That is for people who have lived there. You've lived there for 20 years. It may well be also that you have children that are British or that they are European nationals. Get legal advice. You may be able to apply and remain in the United Kingdom based on the fact that your children are British or European nationals, depending on your circumstances. You may want to look at the derivative right of residence, or maybe applying as a partner of someone present and settled in the United Kingdom, or maybe you are a single parent. You can make an application like that, or maybe you have a child that was born in the United Kingdom and has lived there for 7 years on a continuous basis. Again, you can make such application to remain under the immigration rule. But I want to say something in particular with children who were born here and have lived there for 7 years, or children that were brought into the United Kingdom and have lived there for 7 years. It is not automatic. To say that I have a child that is 7, and then if I make an application, I will be allowed to stay, is not automatic. Now, it depends on, it is subject to reasonableness. Is it reasonable to remove this child from the United Kingdom, having been born here, having lived there to the age of 7, or having been brought here, having lived there for 7 years on a continuous basis? Listen closely. That is just the first step. The fact that a child has lived there for 7 years does not give them the right to be here. It just gives them a right to be considered under the immigration rules. But then it is subject to the rule of reasonableness on the basis that, is it reasonable to now remove this child who have lived there for 7 years from the United Kingdom? Then it will depend on the particular circumstances of the family. Again, this is not an application you can make on your own. Any application can be made on its own, but you have to have legal representation or to be able to argue why it will not be reasonable to remove your child. So there may be someone who has a child who is 7, and it can be argued that it will not be reasonable to remove the child. There may be a child that is 9 years old, and it may be reasonable to remove them, depending on the particular circumstances. It depends on what you are able to prove. So we have been able to successfully argue reasonableness for many clients in the past, and we hope to do that in the future. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the fact that your child has lived there in the United Kingdom for 7 years means nothing unless you can argue reasonableness. Why? Because the child is not a British citizen, and so can be removed unless you can prove that it will not be reasonable to do so. It may well be also that you fall into the category of partners. People who have lived with someone under the same roof for a minimum of 2 years. That is why, if you have no status at the moment and you are living with that partner and you are cooking and you are kissing and you have no documentary evidence to show that you live together, you are shortchanging yourself. In that, if you have to make an application for leave to remain, you will need to show that you have lived together under the same roof for 2 years. And how do you prove it? You prove it through documentary evidence that you have lived together, utility bills, bank statements in your name. So make sure that if you are living with your partner and you have the intention of making an application for leave to remain, you have the documentary evidence to show that you have lived together. And that does not mean that because you have lived together for 2 years and you have the documentary evidence, it does not mean that you will be automatically granted leave to remain in the UK, even if you have lived together for 2 years. There is a second limb of the rule that says that you will face insurmountable obstacles to relocating abroad. Again, that is what you need a lawyer to help you to argue, depending on your particular circumstances as presented to the lawyer. So you will have to satisfy that limb. Also, there is the limb also that the fact that, okay, you met a British citizen or someone with indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom and you got married and you make an application to the Home Office, there is no guarantee that because you are married to someone that is present and settled in the United Kingdom, that you will be granted leave to remain. Again, just like partners, you will also have to satisfy the fact that you will face insurmountable obstacles to relocating abroad. Remember, Article 8 of the Human Rights Act of that is a qualified right. No citizen, no couple have the right to choose where to live. So you cannot say because you are a British citizen and you are married to someone from outside the European Union that you have to be allowed to stay here. It's a qualified right. You may not be allowed to stay. So therefore, you need a lawyer to be able to make representation on your behalf to talk of insurmountable obstacles. Again, insurmountable obstacles depends on the particular circumstances of a particular individual. So understand that. So I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, they want to get married. It does not necessarily follow that you'll be allowed to stay. Unless there's a child involved, it may not happen. So you that say where you are postponing having a child until 2019, good luck to you. If you want, the part of the consideration when it comes to looking at couples and partners is that do you have a child? If you don't have a child, well, what they say is you can go and live in your partner's country, whether it's from Africa or from Asia or the West Indies. Good luck to you. So you have to understand this. This is why I always say get legal advice, know what needs to be done. I've seen people living together for 7 years and they don't have a single document to show that they are living together. I don't want you to fall into a trap like that. And also, I mentioned earlier about living in the United Kingdom for 20 years. It does not necessarily follow that you have to live in the United Kingdom for 20 years. What the rule is saying is that 20 years, if you are able to prove that you have lived there for 20 years, it is more likely than not, that you will be granted leave to remain. But if you are not lived there for 20 years, you can still make an application, but you will have to prove that you will face very significant obstacles to relocating abroad. What are very significant obstacles? Again, it depends on your particular circumstances as presented to the Home Office, and they'll be able to discover that they'll be able to decide whether you will face very significant obstacles to relocating abroad. And they're usually stubborn about all this. But then, good lawyers will always win. Do you understand? So make sure you get legal advice. The fact that you are refused in the past means nothing. The fact that you are an overseer does not mean anything. But if they catch you, if you are arrested before making an application, then it makes your situation worse. So get legal advice, know what to do, know what not to do, know the things to prepare, know the how much is going to cost you, the documents to get ready. If you need references, you need to gather. So there is always a period for gathering of evidence to make proper applications. We will always advise you to do it to give your application a chance of success. So I want you to make sure that you get proper legal advice on what to do. Dele and Co. Solicitors is an ever-present help in the time of trouble for immigrants that are facing challenges. Again, finally, I'll say, whatever you do not do anything criminal that could destroy the economy, the country that has been built by our heroes, people of the past, people who with toil, with sweat, with labor, with fight, with strength, that have preserved United Kingdom. Though it's a tiny island, but it's a powerful voice in the world. It's some people that built it. So I want to encourage all immigrants to do something to make the society better, to make it a homely environment. This is my contribution to the society that has become my home. I've been doing this for the past 11 years. Millions of people have benefited from the Legal Panorama, and I've seen a lot of people also doing programs on TV on immigration, and I said, well, welcome on board. We have been here to make sure that we help people by disseminating information, by simplifying the immigration rules, because even lawyers and judges are struggling with with knowing the rule. But my assignment is to simplify it, explain it to you, take what matters and put it in the public domain. You ignore the jargons. We will deal with that. Just take the basic information and we will add flesh to it when we make our representation. Lawyers, judges are struggling to understand, so don't bother yourself. Just get legal advice. If you want to be represented by Dele and Co. Solicitors, call the number on the screen, book an appointment. Some of you say, well, you want to see me? I'm not invisible. I am always ready. When they give you an appointment, you'll be able to see me, and I look forward to welcoming you to Dele and Co. Solicitors. Follow us on Facebook. Like us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. It is the safest place to be. If this is your first time of watching the Legal Panorama, I look forward to seeing you again on Faith TV at 3:30 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 9 a.m. Monday to Friday, and sometimes we come up in the evening at 8 p.m. Lovely seeing you again. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into The Legal Panorama, presented by Dele Olawanle of Dele & Co. Solicitors. Talk to Dele & Co. Solicitors. We can professionally help you in the following areas: obtaining and/or extending your visa, asylum, humanitarian protection and discretionary leave, application for overstayers, immigration and asylum appeals, judicial review at the High Court, Tier 1 to 5 under the point system, including post-study work, fiancé visas, settlement applications, indefinite leave to remain, ILR, neutralisation, citizenship, entry clearance and appeal against visa refusals abroad, reconsideration of visa refusals abroad. In addition, we do other areas of law like family, traffic offences, employment, civil and criminal litigation and advocacy. If you need legal advice, call Dele & Co. Solicitors now on 0208 880 9393 or visit our website www.delsolicitors.co.uk. Dele & Co. Solicitors, legal advice you can rely on.
From one of the best authors, Dele Olawanle, comes 5 empowering new books.
Hello friends, I'm Dele Olawanle. If there's any word I have for you today, it is simple. Read to lead. Read to lead. Readers are leaders. Over the years, I've written several books that have changed and transformed lives beyond their widest imagination. My first book, Discover Your Purpose, is simply saying that if you discover who you are, all hell will break loose. You'll be able to fulfill your destiny. And the second book says, prayer is not the answer. Now, as a pastor, some of you know me as a pastor, some of you know me as a lawyer, but a lot of people are praying without a corresponding action on their part. And if you only pray without playing your part, failure is guaranteed. Prayer is not the answer. It's to challenge you to pray and to work hard and to become an influencer of generation. The third book, Add Value, is saying to you simply that, look, if you add value to your life, there is no barrier to success. Now, people come to me from over 52 countries to instruct me as a lawyer. Why? Because I added value to my life. Irrespective of your gender, your color, your nationality, your ethnic origin, if you have what people want, when you add value, they will come to you, they will patronize you. And the fourth book says, if you have everything and you don't have good character, all hell will break loose. Denied by character also will change your life. The latest blockbuster, forwarded by Pastor Kumoyi of Deeper Life, is saying to you that, look, there are patterns to failure, there are patterns to success. So if you break the pattern of failure in this book, breaking the pattern of failure, your life will be transformed, and then you will be a winner. I want you to understand that revelation liberates, knowledge delivers. Go on and make it, and I'll see you at the top.
All these books available as Kindle edition or paperback and are available at Amazon, Waterstones, and all other good bookstores. Visit online at PastorDele.com or you can call 07535 659 032. 5 empowering new books by Dele Olawanle. Get your copy today.